southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train.
What's going on, guys? Hey, Tony and Tristan here, Zero Duck 30 podcast. Man, if you guys aren't using Huntwise, as Tristan says, you must not be very smart because it's Huntwise. No, we're just kidding. But fact of the matter is it's what we believe to be the best app in their field when it comes to mapping social media discounts on over 100 manufacturers. They're creating a community that's priceless. But here's the cool thing. They're offering all of our viewers a 20% discount, right?
Yep.
With using code DUCK30. So Tristan will put that down in the description and check them out, guys.
Heck yeah. So today's guest, we have Levi and Jay on from Dirty Duck Coffee Company. And Levi is I already forgot his title, but he's the jack of all trades is what he told me. and Jay is one of the founders in the Dirty Duck Coffee Company. So guys, why don't you give us some background on, who you guys are and what you do and how Dirty Duck got started.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys having us on. And this is Jay Peterson. I'm one of the founders, owners of Dirty Duck Coffee. So kind of, background of Dirty Duck and I guess a little about myself. I mean, I've been, in the business world for, almost 20 years now. Not to age me too much. And yes, I had a background in kind of the apparel side of things, doing custom clothing for about 12 years. I owned my own company in that space. And then about 6 years ago, I bought a window company. So we do window replacements here in Kansas City. And,
nice.
But, hunting in the outdoors has always been a huge part of my life. And, so my partner, the godfather of Dirty Duck Coffee, a guy named Buck Heath, he and I grew up together in the Kansas City, Missouri area. And actually, we started duck hunting our freshman year in college together. I've been doing it my whole life, and he'd always kind of done like the upland game kind of hunting and with his family and western side of the state. And so anyways, he came to me with an idea back during COVID. He had a lodge up in Mount City that he nicknamed the Dirty Duck. And it was just kind of the local hangout, honky tonk kind of place. He had his loft upstairs, the kind of his studio apartment where he stayed during duck season. He's down in Texas. He's been down there for about 15 years. Mm-hmm. So when his season got done with his business, which is in the clay thrower industry, he outfits all the ranches and down there for their clay throwers and sporting contests and all that good stuff. He'd wrap up about duck season, take 6 weeks off or so to come up and refresh and recharge. And he renovated an old downtown building that was built in 1887, and it was in real bad shape when he bought it. So someone just kind of said, "Hey, what do you call this place? The Dirty Duck?" And it just kind of stuck. And so 3 or 4 years ago, he made a logo for it and started making hats and hoodies just to kind of give out to people as kind of gifts for coming and hanging out. And a family member of his said, "Hey, somebody offered me $40 to buy this hat off my head downtown Kansas City one day." And,
wow.
And he said, "You should probably do something with the brand. It's pretty cool. Everybody loves it when they see it." And so, fast forward, COVID hits 2020, and his business was shut down. I was shut down for, about a month and a half, while we're quote unquote slowing the curve. Mm-hmm. And actually, if it wasn't for COVID, we probably wouldn't have launched this thing. And he was just thinking of a way to have a brand in the industry around, Dirty Duck concept. And he said, no one's really kind of doing coffee in a real fun, cool way in the waterfowl space. Mm-hmm. And so he came to me with that idea, and I was like, "I'm in, man. Let's roll this out." We've been, best friends for years, and we didn't want the industry to be our job, but if we could find a way to have something in the industry that connected us to it without making hunting our job, we were all in. And so we just kind of got to work and, started throwing out ideas, putting things on paper and seeing how the response would be. And, it's crazy. We're coming up on 2 years this summer of our official launch of the coffee side of things. And we couldn't have, had anticipated what it's kind of morphed into. which is awesome. And that just kind of shows what the industry's about, though. Everybody that we've encountered has been really cool and fun and supportive, and they love what we're doing. So we've met a lot of great folks along the way, and really we're just kind of at the beginning of where we think this thing could launch to and get to, and it's been a fun ride so far.
Man,
So
go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's really interesting and cool story. And I'm assuming that the video I saw you guys posted the other day of like the snowy and it fades in of that place. I'm assuming that's the Dirty Duck.
Yeah, that's it, man. So it's an old 2-story downtown building. Like I said, it's built in 1887, and it's really cool because like you come walk in up off the street as you see on that video, and you walk in, it's like 20-foot tall ceiling, and Buck renovated the entire thing, him and his family, by hand. Him and his dad and brother and other people that they, bribed with beer and a sore back to come and so they restored it all to kind of mint condition in a way, and it's the place that, hey, if the lights are on, people are BYOB are stopping in to hang out and have a good time. He hosts a Christmas party there for the town. It's a small town.
Yeah.
And people come in and just hang out and shoot the shit. He's got the big buck hunter and shuffleboard and
nice
and all that good stuff. And it's just kind of the unofficial, bar in town that we're not selling anything at. So, it's a real fun, cool place. And of course he's got his sleeping quarters up above that's got a, nice studio place, with, bathroom, kitchen, all that good stuff up above that he stays at when he's in town. So,
nice.
It's a fun little place.
Well, I'll tell you what, and you guys talk about how great things have went for you so far. And, it's the first time I've heard somebody say, oh, you know what, COVID was kind of a good thing for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's such a unique position. But what I wanted to tell you on a personal note was, the first time I saw you guys' logo, I showed my wife was sitting there by me, and she doesn't have anything to do with hunting. I mean, I've been with her for 28 years, and she's just like, go do your thing, Well,
Sure.
she saw that. She goes, whoa, what was that? And I go, she goes, was there poop coming out of that duck's butt? And I said, yeah. She goes, I love it. And see, my wife and I used to own a double drive-through espresso house franchise. Back in Illinois, yeah, and I won't get all into that, but we opened it up. We worked with, actually, it was Crimson Cup was the name of the company, and it was good. It was a good deal, and we moved to Florida, so we sold it, and everything worked out great. But we've always had this little special passion for coffee because, Tristan, when he was now labor law people, if we're not paying them, they're not breaking any rules.
Right.
The kids were working in the coffee shop, so
I would go with grandma to open up.
yeah. So
That's awesome.
Tristan's always been known by his friends. He goes, what do you mean you need to get a coffee? It's great that you guys say that because, I think with the name and the logo and stuff, it's appealing to everybody,
Yeah. And that's kind of the goal for us. We, people that can appreciate what it means to get up in the morning. We know the guys that are out there grinding it on the public land.
Mm-hmm.
We know what it means when you're stuck in a snowstorm, you're hunkered down in a blind, and you're trying everything just to stay out there because you think, hey, the next 5 minutes may be the next 5 minutes that we're going to limit out or get our first shots. And, you're just trying to, and so it's just the stories over the cup of coffee, that kind of idea, that kind of thought. And, we knew that it was a brand that everybody could kind of relate with. And if you've done it before, you get it. And that's kind of what the industry is all about. We've all got a little something wrong with us. So we like doing this thing, but we wouldn't trade it for the world. So,
No.
and it was cool, through the industry, was able to meet, Levi. I met him at one of our first big trade shows that we were at, or convention, the way we want to call it, here in Kansas City, the Outdoor Expo. And, he stopped by and Levi had never met somebody he couldn't become friends with. So he's got the gift of gab. And we just started chatting and talking and struck up a friendship. And really, we didn't really see each other till the end of last summer, and ran into him over at another outdoor event and just kind of reconnected and said, hey man, let's get together this fall and do some hunting together. And we did. And then, just through that friendship, I said, hey man, why don't you, we got to, if there's any way you could help us out, you're not going to get rich overnight by doing it right now, but we'd love to bring you along if you want to do it. Cause he's got a lot of good talents on the social media and the media side, photography and video and all that stuff. And so a lot of the big posts that we've got going right now is because, we brought Levi on. So, I'll let Levi just kind of tell his own story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I
man.
mean, go ahead, Tristan.
No, I was just going to say, Levi was telling me it sounds like you guys have a real solid team, and, that's all I was going to say. Go ahead, Levi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so, like Jay said, whenever we first connected there, just kind of really hit it off. And of course, I'm a people person. I don't mind talking to people. I'm always one of those guys that, hey, if I get a good feeling about somebody, I just follow my gut and I trust my gut. But regardless of that, I still like talking to people, getting to know people. Everybody's got a story, and it's always interesting to hear somebody's story, hear their background, where they're from, how they got started, whatever the case may be. So I'm always interested in hearing that from different people. But yeah, we connected, and obviously Jay just seemed like a really, really great stand-up dude, and I really like what they had going. And then I got to talk to Buck a few times. Unfortunately, we never met. We didn't actually meet for the first time until back in March of this year, up at the Mound City. Went up there to do a little bit of filming and stuff at the lodge, and that's where I took that video that you guys were talking about.
Oh yeah.
I got to meet Buck up there, and just seemed like a great stand-up dude. And I think really what makes us different, or kind of, to me, is important, is just the teamwork that we have. I mean, the team, it's surrounding yourselves with the right people, whether like-minded or not. And I can even speak to this, that we go back and forth, and it's not that we disagree on things of like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I have an idea about that. And it's like, oh, that's a great idea, but how about you tweak this part of it? And it's like, oh, dang, I never would have thought of that. That's a really good idea. Let's take like my idea, but like spin it to way kind of your style. And we just come out with some really cool stuff. And obviously it's a great brand. And then kind of mentioned one of the other guys that has been with Jay and Buck and stuff before I got here. Just want to give a shout out to Scotty, old Scotty Goggles, if that's some people know him as. But he's been helping them, and he's kind of recently came on board when we've all been talking about things, and it's like, hey, this has been a lot for me to handle on some of the social media side, and just making sure we're trying to take care of all of our outfitters and lodges and everything that we need to take care of to help us continue to grow. So Scotty's kind of helped take on a role, and he's down in Fort Worth, Texas. So he kind of oversees, I guess Buck, like a year ago, Buck named him the regional sales manager of the company. So nice. He's got a higher title. He's got a bigger title than me, but no, he's a great dude too. And just has some really great ideas as well. And it's like, hey, what do you think about this? Or should we go to this or that? And, so that's what, to me, this is, like Jay said, we're definitely not getting rich out here, but man, this is so much fun. And who knows where we'll be in 2 years, with the work that we just keep putting into it and just keep grinding. And, it's just like, for example, I was down in Lake Texoma. What was that, Jay? Like 3 months ago. And I was on a boat, and literally one of our outfitters called me, and Jay got disconnected. Hold on just a second.
Okay, that's fine.
He just texted me.
All good. Yeah, we actually had this happen on the last podcast a couple times too, and I just spliced it to where he couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Are you there, Jay?
Yeah, I'm there. Sorry about that.
Perfect.
Oh no, we're good.
No, so what I was saying was, I was down in Lake Texoma fishing. I think that was like 2 or 3 months ago, Jay. And one of our outfitters called me or texted me while I was fishing on a boat, and he's like, "Hey, are you guys going to be at a show down in Mississippi at the end of July?" And I said, "No, what show is it?" And at the time, we weren't planning on being there. And so I looked it up and I was like, oh man, that's a huge show. And that's a market we've never got into. So I immediately called Jay, from the boat. Hey, I'm going to call and get some more information about this show, maybe see if they can give me some details on it. And as soon as I get that information, I'll forward you an email or give you the details and see if it's something we want to do. And within an hour, I think Jay and I have decided like, hey, this is something we need to go do. So just things like that, having, owners, which is Jay and Buck, having them be openness to ideas and like, hey, this is something we need to do. All right, let's make it happen, and figuring out what we need to do to make it happen. So it's fun. And for me, just being creative, coming out with new ideas, new content, putting a different spin on the traditional waterfowl content. I think I'm going to really enjoy it. I know I'm racking I'm pulling my hair out right now trying to learn this editing software. Which
at least you have hair.
Yeah. For now, I'll eventually run out. But no, just trying to learn that so that this year we can start putting out YouTube content, which I guess the cat's out of the bag now. That we will be doing some of that. I don't know how much or how often, but we probably won't put anything out until late October, early November, sometime in there. So I know we've kind of got some early trips planned, but yeah. So putting my own spin. And kind of what we believe as a team, and kind of my idea of how we can be a little bit different than most of the content you're seeing out there. So I think people will enjoy it. It's definitely not going to be, the big pot. Hopefully we kill birds, but it's not going to be, groups of 15 or 20 guys. It's not going to be groups of 300 in your face,
Sure.
It's going to be smaller stuff. It's going to be the day in, more the day out, the grinding part of it. And then maybe even some cooking and showing that aspect and just showing the beginning to the end process of, hey, this is what it takes to do what we do and to be a waterfowler. And then not only that, but this is the food you get to make and share with your friends and family after the hunt, because I know that's a huge thing that doesn't get shown in today's content is like, hey, those guys just killed, 300 birds of a morning or whatever the case, or they just made 150 pile, and they never show like, the cleaning aspect or the eating it or cooking it. So it makes you wonder what happens with a lot of those birds. And we want to show that, hey, we eat what we kill, or we find someone in need. There's always somebody out there that doesn't have a meal to eat every single day. So finding somebody that would be very grateful to have somebody give them some meat. So
that's awesome stuff, Levi. And a couple things, like one of the things I'm going to get to here in a second, at how you have kind of made like a good organic team and with different outfitters, and they kind of looked out for you guys and said, hey, here's the show, and you guys got it done. But with the whole reality of hunting thing, that's something that you're going to see how I kind of segue this is we've since we started, we've been out to kind of show just the reality of mostly public land. But the thing is, we went to Arkansas 2 years ago, I think it was, for the first time to, we're from Florida, driving 14 hours out there. What's it like start to finish to go out there not knowing a damn thing?
Right.
So, we tried to do our best with GoPros and phones, just me and my dad, to show, what we're doing. And I spent 12 days in Arkansas before I shot my first mallard. Yeah. And we got them on some wood ducks. Like there's a 2-part series we did, Arkansas something, public land 1 and 2. Yep. But one of those days we hunted with a guide or an outfitter service called Delta Thunder Outfitters, just to give us a break from getting our ass kicked on public land. And we didn't shoot. We shot 2 ducks that day. Didn't shoot.
It was our
any
buddy's
geese.
first 2 ducks.
Buddy's first 2 ducks. That alone made the day.
Absolutely.
But we get talking to, like you were kind of saying, you meet these people, and we got talking to Cade, who owns the outfitter business and stuff, and he's like, oh, whatever, and we just talk. Maybe we'll come back next year and that kind of thing. And then this fast forward to this season. We do this. We have a cameraman come out and do this Georgia teal hunt, and we found a lot of birds on public land. And with 16 guys, actually, we had 6 guys, and 10 guys rolled up with us, and we all camped out on the bank and stuff. And it was the epitome of like working together and not getting mad and being a team on public land with strangers. Yeah. And so Cade saw that video, and he's like, man, I want you guys to come out here and film some stuff with us.
Yeah.
So we went out there for a spec hunt and did that. And since then, we've just became like an organic, like really great friends with Cade. Like I'm inviting him to my wedding in November. And it's just so cool to see, like you were saying, the connections you make with these people and how, you never know how it's going to work out.
Well, and what I was going to just kudos you guys on, and it starts with Buck and Jay and all of you really, is just that, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I've been in business for several years, probably 30 years, and I've owned 3 businesses, and and I haven't seen it all, but I feel like I've seen a lot, and one thing that to me, it's never a surprise when you see the success of a company once you get to know what the backbone is.
Yeah.
It really, every once in a while you have somebody that wins the lottery on a business idea. But most of the time, it's a crew like you guys. You guys have put together the A-team. Yeah. And, it's nobody's bashful. If they don't like it, they let you know they don't like it. You don't get your butt hurt, and go to HR, whatever. And I think that's a great dynamic, you guys. And no wonder you've had the success that you've had. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's all credit to Jay and Buck and what they've established. And it's funny, didn't you just say the A-team?
Yeah.
So Jay, our group chat with all of us is, what it's called?
Yeah, Dirty Duck 18.
Dirty Duck 18.
Yeah, man, hit it right on the head. And one time Levi tried to go to HR and I looked over my shoulder and I was like, hey, HR, Levi's got a complaint, and they said, yeah, go tell him to go, fly kite.
Right. That's awesome.
That's like our at our day jobs. We used to. I think there's a legal team now, but back in the day, like we'd tell customers like, yeah, we'll speak to our legal team and get back to you. And one day I was like, because I was doing sales for my dad and stuff, and I was like, who's our legal team? And he's like, me.
I go, when somebody doesn't pay you, you have to get I was like, IT guy, create an email that says legal at ourcompany.com. And he's like, oh, that's genius, but no, that's funny stuff. No, man, that's a killer history. So Levi, let me ask you this real quick before we move on to the next topic. And so what inspired you to get into the sport?
You know what? So I'm, I guess I'd have to ask my wife again, because sometimes I feel like I'm older being around here, but I think I'm almost 29. So I'm still fairly young, but, I got into, and growing up, and I grew up in a really small farm town where, you knew everybody, a few thousand people. And, we didn't have a movie theater. We didn't have we had one grocery store. We had 2 stoplights. We had a Dairy Queen, a Sonic, and
a Dollar General.
What else did we? We had a Dollar General.
Knew it.
Yeah, so we really didn't have a whole lot. Not that and I actually, the town I grew up in is a really nice town. We I'm not going to say too much because it'll give it away to a certain area, but our county did have a lot of money because of the businesses that were in the county. Mm-hmm. So our school systems, our recs were extremely, extremely nice. We were very privileged to have what we have coming from our town, but yeah, there just wasn't a lot to do. And so, growing up, you hung out with your friends, you rode your bikes around, you went to the pool, you just had bonfires, you went fishing down at the river. And in middle school, our school required us to take a hunter safety class.
That's awesome.
That is
in the
awesome.
Yeah, in the 6th or 7th. It wasn't 8th grade. It was 6th or 7th grade. I can't remember exactly. I want to say 6th grade, but we might have been 7th. Whether you wanted to or not, it was part of PE. They took like 3 weeks or a couple weeks, whatever it was, and everybody had to go through it, whether you were ever going to actually hunt or not. But everybody had to go through it and take all their hunter certification or their hunter safety cards. So from once I went with my grandmas when I was little. But obviously I never really shot much. I think I shot a few doves as when I was 6 or 8, maybe 10 years old, whatever. I probably never hit one, but they told me I did. But yeah, so once I had my hunter safety, that's when my buddies and I, we could all get farm permits, and I think I don't think none of us could drive in the 8th grade, maybe just to and from farm or work or whatever. But I know freshman year, like all of us drove to school, so we all had vehicles. And then, small town stuff like, hey, all the police and sheriff's department, they know who you are, they know who your family is, they know where you live. So if they saw you out messing around, sometimes they'd say like, hey, go home or something like that, or quit messing around. But as long as, you weren't doing anything bad and causing trouble, most of the time they just left, they would never say anything. But from then on, like I remember buying my first set of decoys, were some hardcore floaters that the removable keel on the bottom. They were hard plastic.
Nice.
And I think I bought them actually at Dick's Sporting Goods. And I don't know why I remember this. I just like my first thing of decoys. And I think I got a dozen, and oh my God, I thought I was the coolest cat in town. I had some decoys, and I think the weights that I had were some company. I can picture it now. They were like little sandbags, and they Cherokee Sports, I think, is where they came from. If that's a plug for them, if they're still around, they're probably not, because they sucked. Because the sand, eventually, those little bags would open and the sand would fall out, and then there would not be any weight there. So. So yeah, I think I had like a dozen of those. And then when I got into high school, so I was a freshman, and I remember specifically getting my first decoys. Like my dad would go with me. My dad really wasn't big into hunting, but my mom's side of the family was. So whenever I'd see all my uncles and grandpa, we would all go. But I remember getting into my freshman year, and I just fell in love with it. My dad and I would go out and deer hunt. But we deer hunt right where we would duck hunt on some ponds. So literally we'd be sitting in the blind hearing ducks and geese just pile into the ponds. And after, I had ADD as a kid growing up. So after like 20 minutes of sitting there freezing our butt off, not seeing a deer, I'd be like, Dad, let's just go shoot some ducks. Let's go jump these ponds.
Yeah, let's go kill something.
Yeah. So we'd go jump some ponds and drive. We had lots of places to hunt on and stuff like that. So we'd go do that. But yeah, my freshman year, I didn't have any goose decoys. I maybe had like 6 floaters, maybe, or 4 floaters at the time. But I wanted to start doing some field hunting. And my other buddies, they had got some decoys. I think their grandpa bought them some, which at the time was Bigfoot's, was kind of the thing. And my parents would not let me. They wouldn't buy me any, and I didn't have any money. Because I was going to school, and I think I don't know if as a freshman if I worked much. I was in a lot of sports. I played sports like year round, so I didn't. There was really not a lot of time. But I convinced. This is kind of the crazy thing, and maybe somebody else has had this. My parents wouldn't buy me anything, and I didn't have any money, so I convinced one of my teachers to buy me some half shell decoys.
Wow.
My science teacher, shout out Mr. Sloop.
Wow.
To buy me some decoys, and then I would I would figure out some way to get my parents to pay him for the decoys, and I would have them. So
wow, that's awesome.
That's called keeping it real in a small town.
Yeah. So anyways, that's kind of how I got my
That's amazing.
First decoys, and they showed up at the house, and my mom was like, "What are these?" And They, of course, they were, I don't know, $75 for a dozen or something. They were cheap. They had plastic stakes. They didn't last very long, and I might still have them today. I might have just kept them as like I don't know, just looking back at where I started to what I have now and stuff like that. And trust me, when I started, me and my dad would go out there. We I got layout blinds, and most of the time, I tell you what, I say most of the time, there was a handful of times that we would just go out there and I didn't know what I was doing. He didn't know what he was doing. So, and we would never shoot anything. We'd end up just target practicing on some of those decoys for fun. So,
But you know what? That's that you bringing that up, and I can't help to interrupt. It's exactly that. What you said is, those are going to be, and I'm not trying to be pawpaw right now, but those are going to be the things that you remember most, that you remember with your children or whatever, is those shooting up the decoys and we didn't see anything and somebody fell in the mud and whatever it is, and that's just a cool story of kind of like, I mean, you just basically, that's what you did, because what else are you going to do?
Yeah. And we figured it out. I mean, over time, me and my buddies, then, next thing you know, we all had a couple dozen duck floaters and a couple dozen goose floaters, and we'd go out there, and, it didn't take long. We got tired of not having any luck, and we figured out how to scout, and we figured out how to do it from, and now, like currently, I don't get skunked very often, very often at all. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we just kind of taught ourselves how to do it, learned how to call, heck, we used to take our duck calls into school and get in trouble and and stuff like that. But no, it was fun. I wouldn't trade it. Learning how to do it on my own, having somebody show you is always good. Show you how to do it is always great, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it sure makes you appreciate, once you figure it out yourself, it gives you, you're much more thankful that you had that opportunity to do it. And like I said, I mean, it just led me into a lot of different things now and stuff like that. So
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, back to the coffee kind of side of things. I wanted to ask you guys, so what goes into like sourcing? You like take me from step one. You're like, we want to do coffee. Like, where do you source this stuff? Where do you come up with these different blends? How does that all work?
Yeah,
I mean, do you guys have a tasting expert? I mean, what's going on?
His name's Jay.
Yeah,
yeah, right. So funny story is I didn't drink coffee before Dirty Duck Coffee. I never really had a cup of coffee in my life. So I got to work just sampling everything I could get my hands on. I had one of those huge variety packs of the the individual single shot Keurig type things in my office. So I was sampling everything every day, different blends, different dark beans, light beans, different flavors, all that stuff, to try to start getting a flavor for what coffee is. But it's similar, it's like anything else. It's just an acquired taste. You don't like beer the first time you drink it. You don't, you got to acquire a taste for that kind of stuff. And so, started doing that. And so when we started, we just found different roasters, started getting samples from them. And we ended up with one, out of the state of Texas, which we kind of wanted, but it ended up working out really well. They're a younger roaster. And so we knew they'd be a lot more attentive to a brand like ours that's not, some conglomerate that we'd have to buy ridiculous amount of minimums and all that. And they do a really, really good job. So they source beans from all over the world. So they'll bring the beans in, and they do all their process of, making sure that the quality control's there and all that good stuff. And then we'll get you samples of things. And so we just started sampling everything they had, and we knew we just wanted to kind of start slow. So we had an original 4 blends that we started out with. And then once we kind of got up and rolling with those, and cause the whole process of getting branded bags and things like that there's just a lot to it, and a lot of it upfront expenses and cost to do it. And So, but we wanted to do it right. We wanted to be able to, have things that were catchy and things that would market well. And so that's kind of evolved. We added a couple different blends after that. Now we've got a couple more. So I think we're, I don't know, up to 9 or 10 different blends that we offer right now. And so, that allows us to have a little bit of variety for everybody. And, one of the ones we launched in the last year was the cinnamon teal snickerdoodle blend. That's a huge hit. People love that. I was not a real big cinnamon type guy, but I love it. It's got a good flavor to it. It's got enough of that sweetness in there that lets you have that sweet tooth hit. Because I like drinking coffee black. I don't doctor it all up or anything like that. And so it's kind of it kind of hits the spot for the sweet tooth side of things.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I love the names you guys have, Morningwood and
yes.
and then the Clint Eastwood one or what?
Hey, it's a likeness of Clint Eastwood. It's not Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, right.
Is,
for legal purposes.
Right.
That is Cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cliff Beastwood.
Yeah. My wife drinks the cinnamon teal like every day, pretty much religiously. She actually in the summertime, she likes it cold. She doesn't like to drink hot coffee, and she's pregnant right now. So
yeah,
that throws a wrinkle into her, I don't know, mood. But yeah, she'll make a big pot like a day or two ahead of time, and then she'll pour it in the mason jars and put it in the fridge. And then the mornings of when she gets up and gets ready to go to work and start work and stuff like that, she'll pour it over her tumbler full of ice and I don't know what all she puts in there, but she does doctor it up. She adds her little this and that, and the next thing you know, she's happy. So that's all that matters. But
I was going to ask you guys, one of the questions I think Tristan was going to ask you guys is about like, what's your favorite roast, right? But, I imagine you probably like a lot of different roasts, but I'm curious, with that said, is your favorite roast aligned with what you guys sell the most of? Like, is it like, oh, this is going to be our best. I love this one. And you got, Jay over here swearing by it. You got Levi over here not swearing by it. And then you watch the sales and you're like, haha, whatever. But kind of, if you guys take us down that road of that.
Yeah. So, when we're at a show and we'll have, 4 samples usually out, 4 different pots going with sample cups. And what I found is whatever we have out is typically what sells. So, because when the first couple of shows that we did, I would only have like 1 out because I wasn't sure how much we'd go through or whatever. The foot traffic, especially right after COVID, the shows weren't getting as much foot traffic and stuff. So, but whatever blend we had out was our number 1 seller that day.
Wow.
And it's so just cool. Because they just tasted it. They know it. It's comfortable. It's like, oh, okay, this doesn't suck. So I can't go wrong with getting this one.
Right.
But I'd say the number one for the last year has been the Missouri Boat Ride, which is the pecan praline and coconut blend, followed by really the one that's doing the most right now, and it'll probably surpass the Boat Ride, is the Morningwood. So it's a Brazilian blend, and it's just smooth. So I think it's a combination of, I think people like the name, and then 2, once they get it, the repeat business on it. People just love the flavor of it. It's just a real smooth drinking everyday coffee. Whether you doctor it up or not, you can't go wrong with it. So those are our number 1 and 2 sellers right now, and then followed probably by the cinnamon. That's really been a huge hit for the flavored coffee folks for the last 6 to 8 months.
Nice. And go ahead, Levi.
Oh, I was gonna say mine's probably at the bottom, but I'm a Suns Up Guns Up blend, so it's a Colombian. That's my daily drinker if I had to choose. But you can't go wrong with any of them. If I'm feeling a sweet tooth, I'll pop in some Missouri Boat Ride or even cinnamon teal, snickerdoodle. But yeah, you can't go wrong. But if I had to choose me for most days, I'm drinking Suns Up, Guns Up, baby.
Nice.
Now, do you guys, and this wasn't one of the questions on there, but it just came to mind, and I gotta know, do you guys recommend a preferred way of presenting your coffee? Like we did a percolator one time out on public land, off of a grill, and you'd swear, I don't care if it was dirt coffee. You were like, bro, this is the best coffee I ever had, because you just waited an hour for it to perk.
Yeah.
But do you guys have like a preferred method that you guys recommend?
I don't know
Go
that
ahead.
I really do. I don't know that I really do. I mean, obviously, like if you're making like cowboy coffee in a percolator out over a campfire while you're duck hunting or
Yep.
you're camping or whatever, like I don't care what hot press, cold press, this, that, what kind of contraption they can source from some other country that makes it taste like, I don't care what it is. I think that's gonna be hard to beat. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not only great coffee, but it's the location, it's the setting, it's being surrounded, it's the whole experience of drinking the coffee. And
For
kind of like
sure.
Jay said earlier, that's kind of what Dirty Duck encompasses, is that timeless experience of being out there hunting with your friends, being around the campfire, whatever the case. So
No, that's just that's great. No, I mean, you're right so much about that, and I just I might have been a little bit of a coffee snob there with that question, but I was just curious because I've always thought when it comes to that, like you said, it's more about the lifestyle. It's something that we do. We're having this together, that kind of thing, and when it gets so far into that, oh, well, you need to buy this with a press and all this stuff in order to enjoy our coffee. I'm like, bro, I got a $15 plug-in at the cabin. All right, you put some hot water in it. Let's drink it.
Well, heck yeah, guys. Well, you mentioned some of the shows earlier, and I know you guys got a lot going on here in the next 2 months. Sounds like you're going to be some busy guys. So why don't you tell everybody about some of the shows you guys got going on, and I'll throw up a link if you guys got one, but I'll throw up a picture of that schedule you guys got too.
okay,
Sure.
yeah, it's on our Instagram, so people can go. It's probably, I don't know, a little ways down, but I need to pin that to the top. So, and we'll be making posts like here in the next, because we get real busy. But actually next weekend, so July 15th and 16th, we'll be at the Dive Bomb Squad Fest show in St. Louis, Missouri. Last year was their first event, and it went really well. So, and we weren't there, we just heard about it. And so we decided we were going to go to that this year. So we're really looking forward to it. I mean, sounds like it was a hit, and they're just expecting it to be bigger and better this year. So
Nice.
we're really excited for that one. We're hoping the humidity's down, because last year we heard it was pretty toasty. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
No. Yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we're from 30 minutes from Missouri originally, and playing like high school football and stuff, and that Mississippi Valley, that is some hot stuff.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. And then the last weekend of July, the 29th through the 31st, we will be at the Delta Waterfowl Show in Little Rock. And then that same weekend, a couple of the guys, I think Jay and Scotty, will be down in Mississippi at the Mississippi Wildlife Extravaganza in Pearl, Mississippi, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, is just outside of Jackson or close by.
Yeah, it's basically on the other side of Jackson. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, we'll have those two going on at the end of the month. So we'll be split up. So a couple of guys will go to one, and myself and I think Buck will be at Little Rock. So
Nice.
we'll have those, and then the following weekend, the first weekend in August 6th, will be. I don't know if we're gonna have a booth exactly, but I'll be there. Jay may be there. Scotty may be up here. So we'll be around if we don't have a booth at Rogers Waterfowl Weekend in Liberty, Missouri. So that's just northern side of Kansas City. that weekend. And then the following week, or the next 2 weekends, will be in Game Fair in Ramsey, Minnesota.
Nice.
So we'll be up there. That's the 12th through the 14th and the 19th through the 21st. So it's 2 weekends long. So I think maybe a couple of us are going to stay up there the whole time. We're not going to come back home. And I guess the plan is to maybe sneak over and hunt geese in North Dakota because it opens up on the 15th. So
Nice.
we may get some content over there, and that might be how we kick off our YouTube. So, but like I said, anything that we get early on here, August and September, we're still probably not going to put anything out until later October, early November, sometime in there. So, but on the YouTube front of things, but Instagram and everything else will be rocking and rolling with that. So yeah, those are our shows. I think this is our busiest schedule we've had as a company, I guess, so far. So we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot, but we're looking forward to it, and it's gonna be a fun time. So
that's awesome, man. And I'm glad you brought that up about trying to get that hunting trip in, because I was going to ask, with all the running and gunning with the shows, you guys got to be itching for duck and goose season and stuff. What else do you guys got planned as far as duck season? Do you guys got any like trips you guys are all looking forward to doing, or?
We have a couple things that we'd like to go do. It's one of those things that's, we got to pick and choose.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of options out there. I think for sure we're going to make an effort to get down to. We have a good partner at Straight Lake. So I don't know if you know Max Sharp, Straight Lake Outfitters. They're down there in Arkansas and Louisiana.
Nice.
And they're real good folks. They've been carrying our coffee since the beginning, basically, and do just fantastic job. So we definitely want to try and make our way down there to hunt with them. And then, we got our normal season up in Mound City, Missouri, and which is a great flyway that we'll be hosting folks at to come through and hunt with us up there and get some filming in up there. And then, Levi just has a knack for finding great spots all over the place locally that, we don't give out, of course. But
yeah,
I appreciate, that's what I appreciate about Levi, man. He'll bird dog out some good spots that we can get on birds and just do some more of that old school public land type stuff. And, and then also he's just good at the meet and greet, going and knocking on somebody's door and getting to know them. And before you know it, they've opened up a couple 100 acres to go and scout and get it set up on some spots. So
that's awesome.
Very cool.
Well, that's awesome, guys. Well, I guess this is a good time to announce that you guys have been grateful enough to allow us to pass on code 0duck15 to our followers. So any of you guys watching this, go check out Dirty Duck Coffee and place an order and use that code and get 15% off. But go ahead.
Suck.
What was that?
And get the coffee that doesn't suck.
That's right.
That's right. But yeah, we're excited, man. I got some of the morning wood on the way, and we're gonna use it in our videos, and of course have it on the table and drinking it and stuff during the podcast. So we're pretty stoked about that, guys.
Yeah, you guys will definitely be able to follow along what Dirty Duck Coffee's doing as we it can just work together as a team here. We just off the air we were just talking about how we're all on the same team and we'll work together and stuff, and we're super excited. When I tell my wife this, she's gonna be like, "Oh, are you kidding me? I love it."
I'm kind of nervous though. I mean, like, you're like a connoisseur. You drink a lot more coffee than we have.
Well,
I'm kind of feeling a little insecure about it.
Well, I'll tell you this: I cut my teeth on. It could be days old coffee on a ship. You're out to sea for 200 days, and they're like, you don't get to have creamer or anything like that. You just drink the Death Black flavor, And so when you were talking earlier, Jay, about I just like my coffee black, I was like, Yeah, I just like my coffee black too, Jay. You know, I wanted to bump fists with
I'm
you.
a grown ass man.
Right? I love it. So I'm big with that, you know, and then Tanya's she's got her foo drinks, you know, but everybody, and that's the great thing about coffee is everybody can experience it in such a different way, you know, and I can't wait to be perking that stuff on the boat.
Well, Jay likes his coffee black because as a child, his dad told him, hey, son, if you drink your coffee black, it'll put hair in your chest. And to this day, Jay still doesn't have a hair on his chest. So.
Well, that's because Jay didn't drink coffee until recently.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, man.
And now he does.
Yeah, but you know, it's coffee black, it's whiskey neat. I know that's, you know, Levi's still mixing it up with about any fruity thing. We don't have to taste the whiskey, but
that's awesome, you guys. No, but we so appreciate it, and you know, personally, thank you guys for taking the time out today to have your busy schedule. You know, we're recording this on a Friday, and I know you guys get a busy weekend up, and with all these shows coming up, and we just sincerely appreciate you guys taking the time with us today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys having us on, and looking forward to continuing to work with y'all and getting to know you guys some more. And I'm sure at some point we'll share a blind and a cup of Dirty Duck together. So
that's right. And we'd love to have you guys back on too.
We're not going to share the same cup though. We'll have different cups.
Yeah.
Oh, because of COVID, right?
Yeah, because of COVID,
of course.
And everybody in the blind 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you so much.
Where can before we get off here, where can everybody find you guys on you know, social obviously, but what's the YouTube going to be called, and your website and all that?
So our YouTube channel, right now we do have it made. It's just called Dirty Duck Media.
Okay.
So I don't know if it might just be Dirty Duck. I may take that out of there. So it'll either be Dirty Duck or Dirty Duck Media or Dirty Duck Coffee, something like that. So we'll leave links whenever we finalize everything. There's obviously nothing on the page or on the channel right now, so we're still trying to figure out all that and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess over on our Instagram it's just Dirty Duck Coffee. I mean, we're if you search Dirty Duck Coffee, I mean, you just look for our logo as our little profile picture. Find us over there. Give us a follow. And then obviously we do have Facebook as well. Jay runs our TikTok. Is that right, Jay?
It's the Tic Tac, man. Come on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do technically have a Tic Tac, and it's Dirty Duck Coffee, and so basically anything Dirty Duck Coffee, you'll find us www.dirtyduckcoffee.com to go to the website. So you'll find us there. That's where you'll be able to get all of our cool gear and coffee and all that good stuff. So.
Awesome, guys. Well, again, thank you guys so much, and hopefully we can have you on again maybe later into duck season so we can catch up and see how you guys are doing.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right.
You guys have a great weekend, and we'll harvest you soon.
All righty, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right,
thanks, guys. See you.
Thank you.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I ought to slow down, standing in the pouring rain.